Hello, friends, and welcome back to Scaling Stories. Today, I've got some more highly upvoted posts from Best of Redditor updates. Like always, I'll be reading you the posts and giving you my opinions, and I also hope you do the same in the comments down below. Also, I'm currently monetized through YouTube and Spotify's creator program, so watching on either of those would mean a lot to me. Thank you so much for your support. Today's first story comes from the Relationships subreddit. It was posted by Radio HD 1996 on May 22nd, 2016, and was titled, My 18 female, friend, 22 male, won't stop calling me a teetotaler. I didn't mind it until today, when he left 3 bottles of vodka outside of my dorm room door. Throwaway because some of my friends know my real username, and I don't want them to see this. Also, I'm sorry if this is messy. All of this just happened, and I'm still disturbed. I don't drink alcohol because I don't like the taste and because I don't find being drunk appealing. Simple enough, right? I don't judge or berate people who drink, and everyone I've met at college has treated me with the same respect. At the beginning of the spring semester, this kid named Dylan came back to the speech team that I belonged to after spending the fall semester studying abroad. He was a senior. During the fall semester, the other seniors didn't throw any speech team bonding parties, and when Dylan learned this, he started throwing parties every weekend. I went to the first few, but eventually I stopped going because everyone got really obnoxious. At the first party, Dylan called me over to take shots. When I explained to him that I don't drink, he scoffed and kept pressuring me to do it. He didn't stop until another senior on the team stepped in to tell him to leave me alone. He apologized and never pressured me again. I still went to the next few parties because I loved spending time with the team, but eventually everyone's behavior got to be too much. Dylan was no longer pressuring me to drink, but he kept calling me a teetotaler, someone who abstains from drinking alcohol. He never used it in a way that got under my skin. Otherwise, I would have told him to stop. He just kept referring to me as the teetotaler, both when he was talking to me and when he was talking to other people. It made our team members angry, and even though I told them it wasn't a big deal, they were still pissed at Dylan. This was when I stopped going to his parties. I didn't want to deal with either my team members or Dylan and their arguments about an issue that honestly didn't bother me, especially because they only argued when they were drunk and consequently were getting absolutely nowhere. After I stopped going to his parties, Dylan started talking to me more. During practice, he would partner with me and help me write my speeches, and I improved so much this semester because of him. He even started to hang out with me outside of speech team. We got lunch together. He helped me study. We're in the same major. He became a friend that I trusted and genuinely liked. He still called me a teetotaler whenever he got the chance to, even when alcohol was obviously not within the context, but it was clear that he was just teasing me. I have a thick skin, so it doesn't bother me when people tease me for not drinking. For me personally, I'd rather be sober than pass out on the floor at a frat party. Most people who tease me for not drinking end up in that situation. So yeah, I only have an issue when people pressure me to drink, which Dylan did once and then never did again, and he did apologize, and he seemed sincere. So for a while, I was okay with being friends with him. Then today, when I got to my dorm room, I found 3 bottles of vodka lined up outside of it. The one in the middle had a red bow tied on the neck. Taped to the bow was a note that said, Winky face, heart emoji, D. Instantly, I started panicking. I didn't know when they got there, how long they'd been there, or how many people saw them sitting there. I left early this morning and I came back just now. It's 8ish, so I have literally no time frame to work with. I grabbed the bottles and put them in my mini fridge. I know it was Dylan. Who else could it have been? Even though he graduated a few days ago, he must still be on campus. Plus, he knows that I'm staying here for the summer, and he knows where my dorm room is. I'm extremely creeped out. I've never had any romantic feelings for Dylan. I only see him as a friend. Clearly, he feels differently, but why would he feel the need to put 3 bottles of vodka outside of my dorm room to show me that? That's super effing weird. Especially because I'm living on school property, and I could get in gigantic trouble for this. No school authorities have contacted me yet, so I'm guessing that nobody important saw it, but I'm still wary. I don't want to be friends with Dylan anymore, but should I talk to him and figure out why he did this? I want to know why, but I know that it isn't always best for people to know the reasons behind things like this. If I should talk to him, what should I say? Also, what should I do with the vodka? Any suggestions barring drink it or welcome? Scaling Stories Corner. You don't want it? I'll take it. No. I'm kidding. I'm not a drinker. Okay. So first off, I don't think this was supposed to be a romantic proposal of any sorts. I think this was just a dumb joke that Dylan made, and I'm willing to bet a lot that he was pretty sauced when he thought of this joke in the first place. Because how's that romantic in the slightest? Imagine you like a girl, or guy, right? It could be either. And you know this person doesn't like to drink alcohol. In what universe is you gifting this person 3 bottles of alcohol a good confession of your love? That's like saying if OP was a vegetarian and you left 3 steaks in front of her door. It's like, nice, like what is she going to do with that? I think Dylan knows that and just wanted to prank OP real fast because he just graduated and he's leaving. So for that, I would be messaging Dylan something like, haha, very funny, nice job, dummy, you wasted your money. At least that's how I would approach it because I don't think Dylan approached this with malicious intention. He was definitely a jerk earlier in the story when he tried to pressure OP to drink, but from the way OP describes him later, minus the nickname calling, he seems like a decent friend who helped her out a lot. And also, I don't think OP should or could get in trouble for this. Like, even if the school tries to report you, there's just no way, because you can just say it's not yours or you didn't do it. Because if anyone can get in trouble for that, then you can just be gifting anyone alcohol in front of their doors to get them in trouble. Maybe it works like that. I don't know. I haven't lived on campus before, but that sounds pretty dumb if you can get in trouble for that. Now here are some of the top/relevant comments from the original post. Commenter 1 says, I wouldn't read this as a romantic gesture, honestly, but rather an idiotic continuation to a stupid joke as a graduation gift. Some people who drink see those who don't as actively passing judgment on their choices and have a problem with that. These people are morons, but they definitely exist. Sounds like Dylan falls squarely into this category. I just text him and tell him that everyone on your floor really enjoyed his leaving present and suggest he ask what they'd like next time he's feeling so generous. On the off chance that this was a romantic gesture, which, again, I'm 99% sure it wasn't, this will make it clear you read it as buddies. On the other hand, if this was one last dig at your teetotalism, this will show him you're still cool with other people drinking while making a different choice for yourself. Plus, it'll make it clear that he wasted his money, which will hopefully hurt at least a bit. Commenter 2 says, having a thick skin is great, but you were too quick to brush off the teetotaler thing as a joke. It was a joke, but it was also a soft form of pressure to try to get you to drink. That's why his friends weren't cool with it. They were right. This new stunt confirms that he's way too eager for you to pick up booze. Why? I'm guessing it's that if you drink, you'll be more of a grown-up in his mind, so he'll feel more comfortable making a move on you. In his fantasy land, you receive the vodka and decide it's time to grow up. Invite him over to drink it with you. And, well, you can picture the rest. It's super creepy. What to do with the vodka? I think you should give it back to Dylan and tell him, in no uncertain terms, that it made you uncomfortable. OP adds an edit to her post. So, I've calmed down now. I dumped the vodka down the sink and threw the bottles away. I haven't talked to Dylan yet. No one from my school has contacted me yet. To elaborate a bit more on Dylan as a person, because now I can think straight. He loves to drink and get crap-faced. That's why he was so upset that the seniors on the speech team didn't throw any parties last semester, and it's why he kept pressuring me to drink at his first party. He's also very flirty with everyone. Everyone, meaning all the girls he knows. He's flirty with me, even though I never flirt back. He's flirty with his female friends, unless they have boyfriends. He's flirty with girls he meets at parties. He hooks up whenever he gets the chance. In terms of pressuring girls to do things with him, I've never seen it happen. But one time, a guy on the speech team was trying to take advantage of a girl while she was drunk at one of Dylan's parties, and Dylan stepped in, yelled at him, and asked him to leave. So he seems to care about consent. If he didn't, I certainly wouldn't have been friends with him for so long. Neither of these parts of his personality crossed my mind that much until now. I don't think he's a jerk, just creepy. His flirtatious behavior flattered me, but because he behaves that way with everyone, I didn't think anything of it. That's clearly not true anymore, though. I know that I should have included all of this when I originally posted, and I'm sorry that I didn't. I was in panic mode. I was honestly very disturbed, and I was thinking about all of this when I originally posted, but it never made its way into the post, and that's my fault. I hope my edit makes everything more clear. Update 2 days later. I'm back with an update. Thank you to everyone who commented on my original post. I appreciate it very much. I woke up the morning after I originally posted to find a text from Dylan. It was sent at 3:47 a.m., so pretty late. It said, "Did you get my present?" with a bunch of winky faces and laughing emojis. It also looked like gibberish. What I typed out here is what I think he was trying to say, and that was after looking at it for a few minutes. I think he was drunk when he texted me. I texted back, "Yes, I got it, and my floor really enjoyed it. What are you going to get them the next time you're feeling generous?" He didn't respond. A little while later, my RA knocked on my door and asked to talk to me. She said that she had seen 3 bottles of vodka outside my door the day before and asked me where they went. I told her that they were given to me by a friend and that because I don't drink, I poured the vodka down the drain and threw the bottles away. When she heard that, she walked down the hall to the trash cans, which hadn't been emptied yet, and she found the bottles. I left a note and the bow on the one bottle. When she saw them, she didn't say anything for a few seconds and then told me that because I haven't been problematic before, she wasn't going to report me. She said that she knows I don't drink and that she thought it was very unlikely that I kept the bottles, but she just wanted to be sure. I thanked her and went back to my room. I'm happy she was so understanding. About an hour after I talked to my RA, someone knocked on my door. It was Dylan. As soon as he walked in, I could tell that he was drunk. I don't know if you can wake up drunk from having been drunk the night before, but it seemed like Dylan was experiencing that, or maybe he was drinking early in the morning. Either way, it was clear that he had been drinking. He asked me why I gave the bottles to people on my floor. "It was only meant for you," he said. I told him that he knows I don't drink and asked him what the F he was thinking, putting 3 bottles of vodka outside my door in a school dorm where I could get in huge trouble for alcohol possession, especially because I'm underage. He started laughing his head off. "It was a joke," he said. I angrily told him that I didn't find it funny because it could have gotten me in serious trouble. He kept laughing until I said, "I don't mind you calling me a teetotaler, but what you did really creeped me out, and it's grounds for not being friends anymore." When he heard this, he stopped laughing and looked at me. For longer than a few seconds. It was turning into a stare. I asked him why he was looking at me like that, and he just said that it was a joke before he started cracking up again. At that point, I decided that I was getting nowhere, so I asked him to leave. He started to protest, but when I told him that I would tell my RA if he didn't leave, he left pretty quickly. He came back again that night around 9 p.m. When I opened the door, he asked me if he could come in. Surprisingly, he seemed sober, so I said yes. After I let him in, he apologized for making me so angry, but he admitted that the only thing he remembered about this morning was that I was super pissed at him and he wanted to know why. I reminded him that he left 3 bottles of vodka outside my door when I lived in a school dorm, and he kind of had an "oh yeah, crap" look on his face when I told him this. He apologized and said that it was really stupid of him to do and that it was a dumb joke. He asked me where my RA was. "If she hasn't talked to you yet, I'll tell her I gave them to you," he said. I assured him that my RA already talked to me. I'm not in trouble, and she knows they weren't mine. He seemed relieved to hear that. I asked him if he was drunk when he put the bottles in front of my door. He said, "Maybe," and laughed. He said he put them there in the evening, so they weren't sitting there for more than a few hours. I did some thinking then. If he was drunk when he put the bottles there, he was probably drunk when he wrote the note with the heart and the winky face. Because of that, I didn't mention the note. Also, the fact that he was drunk this morning and that he couldn't remember why I was angry at him this morning seemed like red flags to me. I brought this up and said, "I'm kind of worried about you." Which I am. This is the truth. You drink way more than is normal, even for a partying college senior. You should be careful, you know? He laughed it off and said it wasn't a big deal. I pressed on and said, "You're at the right age to stop this now. I don't want you to turn into an alcoholic." He laughed again and made, "Aw, the little teetotaler cares about me" type jokes. I got frustrated at this and asked, "Why do you even drink so much anyway?" He stopped laughing and looked kind of puzzled for a few seconds. His response was that it makes everything easier. I asked him to elaborate. He then looked somewhat uncomfortable and didn't make eye contact with me. I told him that if he drinks this much and it's because it makes everything easier for him, that's not a good sign. He shrugged and said nothing still. I guess all this time, everyone has assumed that he just drinks a lot because he's another moronic college student, and no one has ever asked him exactly why he drinks so much. That, combined with the fact that he's always extra flirty when he's drunk, made me more concerned. He's flirty when he's sober too, but he never actually takes it further unless he's drunk, at least from what I've seen and heard. He asked me why I was being so quiet. I asked, Have you ever done anything seriously romantic with a girl, like telling her you like her or asking her out while you were sober? He gave me an apprehensive look, but then said, "No, not really." I asked him what he meant, and for the next half hour, he talked to me about his experience with girls. I learned that he's never had a serious girlfriend, just flings. He carries out most of his romantic interactions while he's drunk because he feels stupid doing it when he's sober. By the end of this conversation, I told him that if he ever wants to do anything seriously romantic with someone else beyond just hooking up, it can't be tied to being drunk because that isn't a good way to start off a healthy relationship. Then he said, "I know. That's why I want to tell you now that I like you." I froze upon hearing this. I wasn't expecting him to be so forward. When he saw how uncomfortable I was, he quickly said, "What? What is it?" When I still didn't say anything, he said that if I don't feel the same way, that's okay. If he made me uncomfortable just now, he was really sorry. He said that he just figured that he should tell me this now while he was sober. I told him I wasn't interested in him that way. He looked disappointed, but he said that it was okay. I told him that he really needs to get help for his developing drinking problem, or what is already a drinking problem, and although he didn't say anything to that, he looked like he was thinking about it. Things were then kind of awkward for a few seconds until he asked me why I thought he put the bottles there. I admitted that I thought it was a romantic gesture and that, because of that, it creeped me out. He burst out laughing. First, he apologized for creeping me out. Then he said that if he was going to be romantic, he would at least give me wine, not vodka. He added that if he was going to try to be romantic in general, he wouldn't take the alcohol approach, considering that I don't drink at all. We joked around a bit more, and soon the conversation turned to other things. Eventually, we said goodbye, and he left. I didn't expect things to turn out this way, but I was relieved to hear that the bottles were just a joke, especially because he was drunk when he did it. He even offered to talk to my RA for me, which I think was a good sign. I'm also satisfied that I had the opportunity to bring up his drinking problem to him. It really seemed like no one else has ever brought it up to him before, which is sad, but at least it happened now. As for him having feelings for me, now that I know the bottles were a joke, I feel less creeped out. I think the fact that he was drunk while he did it, that he didn't mention the no, and that he can only do seriously romantic things with girls when he's drunk point to him being socially awkward more than anything else. And because of that, I'm no longer seriously uncomfortable. I no longer think that he was trying to get in my pants. Or even if he was, he isn't trying to anymore. He literally said that he wanted to tell me that he likes me while he was sober. All this time, he might have been telling girls that he likes them while he was drunk, and it always ended badly, so he decided to do things differently this time around. Who knows? But I didn't tell him that I don't want to be friends. I'm still thinking about it, just that I'm not romantically interested. I know I said that I don't want to be friends with him anymore when I originally posted, but that was when I was freaking out and before all of this happened, so I hope that some of you understand why I'm still mulling it over. Also, just to reiterate, him calling me a teetotaler doesn't bother me, at all. The only things that bothered me were him pressuring me to drink, which he did once and then never did again, and then him putting the bottles in front of my door, which turned out to be a joke that he apologized for. If him calling me a teetotaler bothered me, or if it felt derogatory to me, I would have told him to stop. It never feels that way to me. It always feels like a joke or friendly teasing, both of which I don't mind. I understand and appreciate the concerns of the speech team and of some people who commented on my original post, but honestly, it's not a big deal. That's all I have. Thank you, everyone, for helping me out. Scaling Stories Corner. Okay, I take back what I said about it not being a romantic interesting. I mean, it was, but I forgot how dumb it's possible to act when you like someone. I guess him always teasing her was a sign that he might have liked OP romantically, but I kind of forgot about that for a bit and was only thinking about it from the angle, like, is he trying to pressure OP to drink? I think this guy definitely has a drinking problem that I hope he gets addressed. I don't think it's very healthy the way Dylan is living his life, considering he feels drunk very early in the morning and how he can't remember the specifics of conversations or interactions. As for staying or being friends with him, I think it's okay to stay friends with him if he's able to maintain that friend boundary, but I've also heard that it's hard for guys who romantically like a girl for them to stay friends. But also, that's assuming that Dylan gets his drinking problem addressed. Like, if he still has a serious drinking problem in the future, and he isn't trying to get help for it, and like, if I'm his friend and I push him to get help and he doesn't get help, then I could easily see myself not wanting to associate with him as a friend. Now here are some of the top/relevant comments from the update post. Commenter 1 says, I don't have good vibes from this guy. I suggest you distance yourself from him. Commenter 2 says, he sounds like a lost soul trying to work out life as a young man. Bit of an idiot, yes. Inappropriate, yep. But perhaps not as sinister as others may think. Solid work on confronting his drinking problem while all this was going on. Hopefully, it's got him thinking. Commenter 3 says, this guy isn't going to become an alcoholic. He is an alcoholic. He may realize that once he graduates, and all of his friends start to cut back on drinking for real life and leave him behind. OP adds an edit to her post. Just want to add, I'm not an idiot, as some of you seem to believe. It's not like I think Dylan's apologies and the story behind his alcoholism make me think he's an A-OK guy who deserves to be trusted. I never told him that I want to be friends. I never said that I still want to be his friend. Just that I was thinking about it. Obviously, I've decided to keep my distance from him now after reading all of these comments, but just because I'm 18 and Dylan is 22 doesn't mean that I'm not aware of the senior guy preying on freshman girl scenario. I don't live under a rock, people. I appreciate the concern everyone has for me, but please keep comments about me being naive to yourself. And not only on this post, but all over relationships, because I read this sub regularly, and comments that personally target the OP without offering any advice only drive them away when they came here for help. Okay friends, so that concludes our first story of the day. Next up, we have a story from the Ask Men Advice subreddit. It was posted by JM1905 on April 4th, 2026, and was titled, Fiancée, 23 female, left me, 25 male, for someone she met at the gym. What now? Hi everyone. I was in a relationship with my fiancée for 3 years. I proposed in October 2025, and up until recently, I genuinely thought we were happy. Last week, she told me she'd met a guy at the gym. Over a few weeks, they got to know each other, and she developed feelings for him. When he asked her out, it made her question our relationship, and she decided to end things. I'm still trying to process it. The shock has worn off, and now it's just heavy. I'm dealing with anxiety, poor sleep, no appetite, and I can't focus properly. I wear a smartwatch, and even my resting heart rate has been noticeably higher. I've got a high-pressure job, and I'm worried this is going to start affecting my performance. I'm already going to the gym daily and taking magnesium and melatonin, but I still feel constantly on edge and nauseous. Seriously, I feel like I could vomit throughout the day. If anyone has been through something similar, how did you cope in those first few weeks? How do you calm your body down, sleep better, and start to feel even a little bit normal again? Is there any medication I can take to help with the anxiety and nausea? I'd really appreciate the advice because it could help me greatly through a challenging time. Thank you. Scaling Stories Corner. Yikes. I feel pretty bad for OP in this situation, but also I would consider it a blessing that if your fiancé of 3 whole freaking years is going to fold just because a gym crush asked her out, then so be it, because that's not the kind of person you want for your future partner. Because of course, there's going to be a lot of attractive people at the gym sometimes. But also, you don't know if you connect with these people lifestyle-wise. What if they don't share your hobbies? Or if they have views on things that are totally against what you believe in? Or anything that would really be a deal breaker in a relationship, right? But OP's fiancé is just lusting really hard for this guy from a physical attraction, I think. And if she folded her 3-year relationship from just being asked out by this dude, then okay, more power to her. Like, good luck and have fun with your life, right? Now, here are some of the top/relevant comments from the original post. Commenter 1 says, sorry to hear this. First, this relationship is over. The sooner you move on, the better off you will be. Note, if she comes back, it will be a mistake to get back together with her. She has already left you once, when your relationship was good and easy. I've been with my wife for over 30 years. Trust me, there will be trying times. If she won't stick with you now, she sure as hell won't stick with you when the going gets rough. I know it's hard to think about moving on, but trust me, do it. You deserve better. This didn't happen because of you. It happened because of her. Be grateful it happened now rather than later. You will find someone else. I had a serious girlfriend I was planning to ask to marry me. We broke up. I was busted for a long time. My wife is way better. My motto, keep moving forward, work out, set goals, have fun, 1 inch, 1 step. Keep moving. Life is a marathon, not a sprint. You will survive this and be better for it. Commenter 2 says, "Be glad you're young and you didn't get married. She did you a huge favor. Hard to see right now, though." Commenter 3 says, "Gym relationships are based on pure physical attraction. He's a pretty boy with muscles, and she's obviously that shallow that it worked. If it makes you feel better, he'll dump her ass as soon as he's banged her a few times. She'll be devastated and will contact you again, saying she's had time to think. Lol. Then you get to tell her hoe ass to get lost." OP adds an edit to his post. "I woke up this morning to over 300 comments on my post, and honestly, I wasn't ready for it. I sobbed reading through all the advice and people sharing their own stories. It's so easy to forget there are real people behind the screen, but I'm one of them. And the few minutes you took to write a comment genuinely meant something to me. I'm going through what feels like the lowest point in my life, and somehow a bunch of strangers on the internet made it feel a little less lonely. So yeah, thank you. I will continue reading all your comments. Seriously." Update 4 months later. Hello everyone. Around 4 months ago, in April, I made a post here at what was probably the lowest point of my life. I wanted to come back with an update, partly to thank everyone who took the time to reply, but also in the hope that someone currently in the position I was in might read this and realize that things really can get better. First of all, thank you to everyone who told me she would be back. I remember thinking it was strange that so many people said the exact same thing. At the time, I didn't really understand why. Lol, I still don't know what the psychology is behind it. Well, you were all right. 2 months ago, in June, I got the call. She told me she'd been dating the guy from the gym, and, unsurprisingly to everyone here, she'd slept with him several times. She said she'd woken up one day and realized she'd made a mistake, and was willing to do anything to make the relationship work again. I declined and politely asked her not to contact me again. I also blocked her, her friends, and her family. Had it not been for the advice from so many people on my original post, I genuinely think I might have given in. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Today, I'm in a much better place and genuinely happy with my own company. I wanted to share a few things that really helped me. I stopped isolating myself. Instead of lifting weights alone, I started trying different classes at my gym. I ended up really enjoying them and met some great people that way. I went on a 2-week solo trip. I took myself out for meals, explored new places, and just enjoyed my own company. I read a lot of the books people recommended in the comments. No More Mr. Nice Guy was the one that resonated with me the most. I leaned on my family and existing friends. I made a point of arranging lunches and coffee catch-ups instead of sitting at home. I started counseling. Being able to say everything out loud to someone with no personal bias helped far more than I expected. More importantly, I embraced the time alone and journaled a lot. I learned a lot about who I am outside of that relationship and wrote down the things I wanted from my life. I've only recently started dating again, and it's actually been enjoyable. I'm not rushing into anything. It's simply been nice meeting new people and learning about different personalities. Healing isn't quick, and the damage from the breakup definitely affected me. I still have some reservations about dating, but I've also learned about the boundaries I will never compromise on again. If you're reading this because you're going through something similar, please believe me when I say this. It doesn't feel like it now, but it really does get better. The person who walked away wasn't the right person for you. And to everyone who took the time to comment on my original post, thank you. Your advice genuinely changed the direction of my life. ScalingStories Corner. Well. I think that's just the consequences of the ex-fiancé's actions. And yeah, it's no surprise that even though she found this guy physically attractive, and it seems like she really enjoyed the physical connection she had with this guy for 2 whole months, there were probably other aspects of this guy that she didn't really connect with. And now she realizes that, and she wants to go back to what she had with OP, but he's treating himself with respect and not allowing her a second chance after doing what she did. And to that, all I can really say is don't throw away your 3-year relationship over a gym crush. Like, duh. Now here are some of the top/relevant comments from the update post. Commenter 1 says, I read your last post, man. Wouldn't it be crazy to have a conversation with yourself now and yourself 4 months ago? Happy for you, brother, and be happy in the knowledge that you're much stronger now that you know when things get bad, you can pull yourself out. Also, a piece of advice. This time, date around a bit more. Be picky and find your perfect person. OP says, thank you, my man. I vividly remember writing that post. I felt embarrassed that I was going to Reddit for advice at the time, but I'm so glad I did. It would be so crazy to have a conversation with that version of myself. I felt like my life was over. Commenter 2 says, knew she would be back. I'm glad you handled it the way you did, and keep enjoying your life. Commenter 3 says, I guarantee you, she didn't just wake up one morning and realize it was a mistake. That gym bro got what he wanted and moved on to the next one. Commenter 4 says, I love these delusional people who think they can have a backup in case something new and exciting doesn't work out. Okay friends, so that concludes today's video. Leave a like and comment down below to let me know what you thought of it, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care. Hello? Hello? Why are you still listening to this? Just one thing. At the end, at the start of the first Scaling Stories corner, I'm pretty sure I said something like, I'm not a drinker. I didn't mean it like that. I meant like I'm not an alcoholic, but I do drink socially sometimes.